literally every game. That's all you want to do. Hey yo, what's up Tips gang? And we are back with a follow-up video of how to hit diamond easily. This one is actually the how to hit masters easily. I'm gonna name it something like that just as a follow-up. If you guys haven't already seen the original how to hit diamond video, please check that out first. So this video is a little different than the diamond video. Of course, one teaches you how to hit diamond. This specific video teaches you how to be a full-grown master player. I want to talk about the differentiations between the videos and what approach I took. So for the diamond video, guys, if you guys haven't watched the how to easily become a diamond player, trust me, it's a long video, but it's well worth your while. I'll quickly try to summarize it here, but it basically what the video was about was how to choose decks for the current meta so that you can climb in the ladder, how to choose decks for future metas, how to ensure that the deck you're playing is actually not garbage and that you're using one of the top tier best decks out there. And no, this isn't just simply from like, you know, using Runeterra CCG, finding the best deck out there. I'm actually teaching you how to counter decks, the best approach to creating your own deck to potentially counter a deck. Like there's so many different things and knowledge bombs that I dropped in that video that I hopefully you guys can look into. Like, that whole video was a base. Like you need that in order to hit masters. If you don't have a really good deck to begin with and you don't know how to choose a good deck for that meta, you're not gonna hit masters anytime soon, buddy. Sorry sorry to say, but like we need that as your base crutch. Once you got your base crutch going, from now on, honestly, the only thing stopping you from hitting masters is you as a garbage player. Nah guys, but all jokes aside, it's literally the bad in us. Even me, bro, sometimes I do misplays. Like the small misplays that you do is what can cause you to lose games. So guys, in this video I'm going to be explaining 3 specific stages in the game, and all you have to do is just follow these simple guidelines. I've literally broken up so that you can easily follow, and it should not be difficult. Just follow the breakdowns that I'm giving y'all and you will succeed as a master player. So we have pre-game, we have the queue, that's where you actually, you know, queue up with someone and you find out you're versing them, and then we have the in-game. So I'm going to be instructing you exactly what I want you to do pre-game, what to do during the queue time, what I want you to do actually in the game. This specific video will be a breakdown of everything going through my mind as a master player. You guys can see I've hit masters 1 times, 2 times. Wait, what the? Where's... Bro, I could have sworn... Oh, there we go, guys. Alright, so I forgot I had it in the loot. I never claimed it. This is a Smurf account. I just want to show you that we had all of the badges. So how we're going to be doing it, it's going to be a little different for the diamond video, because I think in order to perfectly master everything you have to do to be a master, that sounds kind of weird, right? But what you're going to have to do is actually see gameplay, but not just see gameplay, guys. I do that all the time. It can get boring. I'm going to actually talk about, I'm going to stop the gameplay at certain moments. And basically, as a master player, bro, when you're playing, you think of all these things really, really quickly. And I'm going to slow it down. I'm going to pause it and talk about everything that's going on in my mind in that split second, or in that split 5 seconds. It's really quick, but you learn. As a master player, you start adapting and learning. And a lot of you diamond players watching already, again, what I've noticed from all this coaching and stuff, that all you need is a good win rate deck to hit diamond. But for masters, it's not really all about just having a good win rate deck. You have to basically be skilled, and you actually have to know the game and out-skill your opponent. So if you guys are still in tune with it and you want to watch this video, guys, check it out. Don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe if it has helped you in any way, or if you just like the stuff I'm dropping, man. Let me know if you like these types of videos, and yeah, that's about it, guys. Don't forget to check out the description below, and I have all this resources there for you. My links, check me out, watch me on stream. Don't forget to follow me on Twitch if you want to, guys. Links in the description below. Now we're gonna delve right into it, boys. Alright guys, so this is a simple rule you're going to want to hear. Hopefully you guys stayed enough to watch the intro, but the number 1 rule is information. Information. That's literally all you have to know. It's information. So what do you mean by information, Tips? Well, what I mean by information is you need to understand that this game is a 1 versus 1. And basically there's so many constants in this game. What are constants? You know, things that do not change. I have a 40 card deck, you have a 40 card deck. So what changes, right? Like there's RNG that happens, that's obviously randomized. It's kind of like a constant because I really can't do anything about it. But what can you change in the game to improve your odds? Information, bro. That's literally all it takes. It's information. So the reason info, I'm going to shorten it. It's going to be annoying repeating the same thing. But the reason you're going to like the reason info is so big again is because think of it this way. If I'm telling you, okay, player 1 and player 2 versus each other, and now I'm going to give you this scenario where I need you guys to unlock 3 doors. Whoever can unlock all 3 doors the quickest and then hit the end goal, whoever hits that end goal first wins the game. Or wins that whatever game you guys are playing. Well, imagine I give a map to one of the players, and that information already tells him that the first and the second door, so 1, 2, 3, first, second door, which ones to go with. So now, literally, that player 1 just has to solve 1 door. Right? You give them out to player 1. He literally, first door, 100% chance he knows where it is. Second door, 100% chance. And third door is literally 50% chance for him. But a player 2 now has to go through that 50%, 50%, 50%. Who has better odds of winning? Player 1 because of the map. Whoever has more information has the better chance of winning the game. Doesn't mean the other player can't win, right? Because the other player could easily win all those 50% and, you know, basically make it through. And you could potentially mess up on the last one and the second player wins. But, like, that's the whole point of this game. RNG plays a huge part. There's also a lot of things that also come into account, like mulligan stage at the beginning. But basically, the whole crux of it is you want to have info over your opponent. So now, this is what the stages are for. Keep your bunny ears up high, boys. So, this screen must look familiar to y'all. This is actually the pre-game, right? This is what I like to call pre-game. Before you've even started, you have your rank. You're like, fuck, trying to climb to masters, anxiety hits, oh, fuck. Nah, but like, dude, this is literally the crust of it. This is where it starts. So, number 1 rule, you pre-game, all right? Write this down, guys, if you have to write it down. Number 1 rule that you need a freaking deck tracker. I don't care what anyone says. If you might be the smartest Albert Einstein guy I've ever met in my life, I really don't care. Go to Mobalytics, I can't spell Mobalytics, deck tracker, install. There's so many. Look at this. First thing, download the deck tracker. You make your account. You're going to literally have everything explained here. When you play something, it'll go black. It'll show you how many of each you've got. It'll also show your opponent's deck. It'll tell you what's in the graveyard. So it'll tell you everything, man. This is all information. You want to know what's in their specific, what they've played, what you've played, just so you can basically go into the first process of what I'll be explaining just in game. This is going to help in game. So this is more of the tool in game, but you got to do it pre-game, because if you don't have it set up, it's not going to show up. But now the second thing is know your damn deck. You have to be self-aware of what deck you're running. So what I mean by this is where you lack, where you're positive, and where you're neutral. So, right, I have Demacia Scouts, right? I will argue that I do so well against someone like a control deck. I do so well against someone like an aggro deck. But that's my benefits. Where do I lack? Probably mid-range, because this is a good mid-range deck. But if someone is competing with me, for the most part, they'll flow even better than me, because this all utilizes allegiance. If you guys don't know how the Scouts deck work, it's literally just allegiance constantly. Misfortune constantly goes in with her attacks. And you eventually get your pursuit, so you can keep attacking and you win game, and you do it quick before turn 5 or 6. But if someone is playing the same mid-range game, for the most part, they scale a little better than you. So if they have maybe like a Garen or something, they might, and like a very similar deck, they might actually have a better chance at beating you. If you guys haven't seen the recent elite decks, that one actually is scary against this deck, because again, I told you it's a better mid-range than this can ever be. This is very aggressive mid-range, but that's full on mid-range, which will beat us. So understand your deck, guys. First things first, know where you benefit and where you lack. As soon as possible, you have to know this. This beats aggro because you can always go more mid-rangey, right? With all of the Rangers Resolve, Bannerman, you trade nicely. It doesn't do as well against mid-range because I already explained it. And it beats control because you push so much damage. You do the pursuit. For some poggers, they won't know it's happened. They won't be expecting it, and then you just win, and it's basically for the win. Once you hit that. Alright guys, so this is the video I'm going to be showing. This is what got me specifically to Masters. I'm going to be pausing here in and out, but just so you guys can see, we've done pre-game. Now, oh dude, that's a bad picture of me, hold on. So you're not going to see the deck tracker, mainly because I wasn't on Twitch. That's usually when it pops up for me. But also, I was pretty confident already because I've hit Masters a bunch of times. Like, I've already trained my cognitive ability for it. But just for the video's sake, guys, easily hit this, just have a deck tracker. Makes things so much easier. We did pre-game. Alright, you got your deck tracker. You know what type of deck you're playing. As soon as the screen hits, bro, my brain, look at me, my mind just hitting. It's like, oh my god, it's like literally just knowledge. Like Literally, though, my mind is running at 1,000,000 miles per second right now. There's so many things going on right now. So what you want to do now in the queue time is ask yourself, which deck is better? This is the simplest thing. You want to know who wins this matchup. In order to know who wins, you have to know what each deck is running. This is why it's important to know what your deck is, so you know exactly where you benefit, where you lose. Now let's look at WS's deck. So literally, all I'm doing, guys, I'm going to pull a random screen here, Google. I'm going to write Lux Soul Deck. First thing, I don't care. We're going to see what this is. What? Oh, that's not right. All right, I'm going to go on this link. It's a Mobilytics link. All right, here we go. By Rattling Bows, I really don't even care who makes these decks, but you want to look at the type of decks these guys are running, because for the most part, it's a deck that someone in this ladder is going to be running, because a lot of the decks in ladder are net decked. I don't care what you people say. A small percentage of players actually use their own custom decks to hit masters. It's all for the most part net decked, and you can find it online on Twitter. You can find it on Runeterra CCG. You can find it on Mobilytics. You can find it on decks of Runeterra. You have so many resources to find these decks. So literally, educate yourself on the deck so you know. But I literally just pulled it up, right? Soon as queue time, as soon as I see, oh shit, I matched up with this guy, I'm going to pull up my second monitor, and I'm literally just going to look up to see what type of deck they have or how it runs. Because now I have information. The whole point is information again, right? I want to have information over my opponent. Now I know what his deck list looks like. He could have maybe a guess about what my deck list look like. But for the most part, if he's smart, he'll also Google my deck and look for it. If he didn't do that, you have more information than he does on your deck. Literally, simplest line. Which deck is better? Is mine better or is his better? So how are you able to do this, guys? So if y'all don't already know, Legends of Runeterra, they should be on their website, but this is such a common graph that everyone should have seen sometime in their life. But it literally explains the card game. This is kind of for most card games, actually. It might be a little different from Magic the Gathering or like other specific card games, but this is the actual like rule of how, you know, decks beat each other. Quickly, control beats at mid-range. Mid-range beats aggro. Aggro beats control. Control loses to aggro. Aggro loses to mid-range. Mid-range loses to control. You guys should know this, right? It's like basically the triangle. If you don't know this, well, you're learning something now, but this is literally the general rule. What I want you to do now is specifically just look at, we're going back to the video. What am I? I am a mid-range aggro deck. You could just standard say mid-range, but if you want to be more specific and more in tune with what's going on, I say mid-range aggro. Because for the most part, if you haven't covered pacing too much, but I'm going to see if I can sort of talk about it here, is what you want to do is basically focus on deck pacing, right? So literally, you could argue this is just a mid-range deck, and then this is just a control deck. Easily mid-range control, and you'd literally just look at the chart and be like, oh, okay, mid-range control. Control beats mid-range, meaning tips, your deck loses in this matchup. Literally, you could do that. But if you're a better player who understands pacing, and I will be explaining pacing right now. So how pacing works is, if you're a mid-range, you could potentially be more aggressive, or you could potentially act more like a control deck. You can kind of, you know, move yourself towards if you're a mid-range, you can try to attempt to be someone who you aren't, to be better in a matchup. So like this control deck, for the most part, could try being more mid-range or more aggressive, depending on the deck, the nature of the deck. So it kind of sounds silly. I am a mid-range aggro deck, right? I'm very aggressive with the Relentless Pursuits. You know what type of deck I'm running. I have Misfortune for the constant pings. I've got, you know, Grizzled Ranger. I've got things that offer value, which are very mid-range, but it can be very aggressive too. I have a lot of 1-drops and 2-drops. I can place on one single turn. So it can be aggressive. But now look at this guy's deck. We solidified it could be a control deck, but more specifically, it could be a mid-range control. This deck most likely cannot really go aggressive. I don't think so, at least. But it's a mid-range control because for the most part, it should have things like more card draw, Riding Stones. It could have, you know, a lot of the Solaris minions, you know, that get buffed for that one turn and then they lose it. It's so good for stalling. So it could potentially go a little more aggressive as well. But that's why you have to focus yourself on each matchup. You use this as a chart, as a guide to understand where your deck is and who wins. So based off of that, right, we're mid-range aggro, and he is, if we were to say mid-range, right, again, if we were to say I'm just mid-range, he's control, control beats mid-range. We've solidified that. But now how do I win in this matchup? Well, basically, instead of being a mid-range, what beats the control? The aggro beats the control. So we need to shift our deck to be more like an aggro deck in order to beat this control deck. Literally, because as you can see, we lose to this. So we have to be an aggro, and then we'll beat their control. And as you guys can see in the video, as you guys can see over here, we have the opportunity to be more aggressive with Relentless Pursuit, with scouts, you know, basically attacking multiple times. There's that possibility. So that's what I'm going to be aiming for in this specific game. In this fight, I'm going to be aiming for aggression as fuck. It's the only way to win, right? So in his eyes, if he's a smart player, he's going to know I'm going to be focused for aggression. So if he's a smart player, guys, he's going to basically say, well, if this guy's playing aggro, he's going to beat my control deck. So let me play more mid-range. So, like, right, I lose, and you guys know by my deck, it loses to basically mid-range fights for the most part. So if he plays control or mid-range, right, he has the deciding factor. He's playing Lux into Soul, right? It scales into control. But for the most part, you should have a lot of mid-range options. So he wants to play more like a mid-range to basically defeat my aggro and force me to play more like a mid-range. And then he's just going to win off that trade-off because he scales out to the control and we lose the game. Look at all these cards he has for control. Like, that's so many. The odds that he gets these are a lot lower. So I'm hoping he gets a worse draw. It's all RNG now. It's like, you know, we're disqualifying all the things that are constant. So RNG and Mulligan is all on him, right? So that's it. We know we have to focus on aggro. He's going to focus for the most part on mid-range. He should at least, because that's our only way we can actually win, right? Based off of what we assumed here, that we just lose the mid-range to mid-range fight. So just go mid-range, right? No reason to go more control-y. Like, he's got a lot of control things, but he's got a mulligan for the good stuff. I already knew how the deck ran, so it like, okay, I know what I have to do. I understand the triangle, so I know what I have to do in that instance. All right. Now you're in game. That was rule number 1, right? Once you've solidified which deck wins, now you understand deck pacing. This will dictate to getting more information every time, just deck pacing. And I'll explain as we talk more about it. But now, here is where you want to focus on Mulligan. Mulligan is honestly a lot of randomness, but based off of what you observe from deck pacing, and you understand where you want to go and what direction your deck wants to go, which is aggressive, right? You're basically having to sit on that specific deck type. I'm going to look for a good aggro rush. So would this make sense to hold? Protector, Quinn, and Ranger? Well, so we have a good easy 2-drop here. We need to fit the curve. We need to fit the mid-range curve at least, right? We need to be more aggressive and like mid-rangey. You need your 1, 2, 3, 4. But I'm trying to look for a lot of earliness, right? With my, you know, my Fleet Feathers, my War Chef, stuff like that. But I didn't end up getting any of it. So it kind of sucked on, or Cloudfield, right? My early 1-mana Cloudfield. I didn't get any of those, or I would have looked for them early. But I didn't. So what I ended up doing is I'm basically forced to now play more like a mid-range. So I might as well just go for the turn 1, turn 2, turn 3, turn 4. So it would not make sense for me. I honestly wanted to look for that 1-mana card, for the 1-drops. I needed a 1-drop, even though Grizzled Ranger is very good for aggression as well. But I needed to look for something more than this really bad hand. This is just going to delay it, and he wins in the delay matchup. I don't want to deal with that. So what did we draw? We got rid of those. We got a fucking Ranger's Resolve, a Jenny, and a Riposte. This is probably the worst thing. I basically did a really bad mull there, but it's because I had good intentions of basically winning this game. So it was more, I want to focus on aggro. Now this is where, you know, we got very unlucky with what we drew, because we had so many other options we could have gotten. But for the most part, let's look on the bright side. We're probably going to have to play, I guess, Banner. We're going to have to honestly play more mid-range with this type of deck. But turn 6 is pretty nice because he does have Soul and Lux. So if he plays Lux, we can kind of trade evenly with that for the most part. So as you can see, turn 1, we have no turn 1. We got the 2, the 3, no 4, no 5. So we were forced to pass. This is actually really big-brained. He passed at the beginning of his action. So again, what I told you guys, he's either going to play mid-range or control. So this is all deck pacing again, right? Mid-range and control. So he wants to first off see what I'm going to play, right? This is all just like understanding the mechanics. Am I going to be aggressive? If I'm aggressive, if I'm straight up going to be aggressive, he's going to have to combat that, right? By being more mid-range. But if I'm not going to even play aggressive and I'm going to play mid-range, all he has to do is play control and he wins the game. So there's really no reason for him to play a 1-drop here at all, even though he's got the attack token. Even though I was thinking he probably has a Solari Soldier, like that 1-drop, which you're going to see, you're going to get surprised, guys. Keep watching this. So look at his hand, right? Nothing, played nothing on turn 1. All right, cool. I had nothing to actually do on this turn. Okay, turn 2, Fleet Feather, or do I go for the 2-drop? So, do I go for... Let's look at my curve as well, right? Now, the second most important thing, guys, this is where now you start. This is where you start building up the step 2 and step 3. Card tracking. Card tracking, and then step 3, mana holding. They go hand in hand. Look at the mana he's got. He's got 2 and a spell. I have 2 and a spell. So I was thinking here, should I do Fleet Feather or should I go for the Solari Soldier or the Bright Steel Protector? I mean, I'd rather go for, even though we're not getting the berry off of it, I want to play more aggressive. So what's gonna make me play this more aggressive like? Basically, I play this on turn 2. I'm hoping, since I have a lot of other 2-drops like War Chefs, I have like 2 more of these. I was hoping I draw into that so that for the next turn, right, you see we're gonna have 3 mana next turn. I could then drop Fleet Feather with a potential 2-drop. And I need to push for extra damage here, because if I just played Fleet Feather here, I would next turn have 3, and I would be forced to basically play this 3 or that 2. And that's kind of slow. I'm still going with the aggressive mentality. That's the only way I can see me actually winning this game. And the fact that now he's playing more like a control deck means that if I play more aggressive, it's gonna be effective against him, because aggro beats control. He's losing his ability to play like a mid-range, right? Looking to see what he does, right? The fact that he's waiting means he's got something. And remember, guys, to always check on his deck whenever you're seeing this. Like, this is the most important part. Like, it's card tracking and mana holding. Like, literally, this is part of card tracking. Understand what he could have used here, right? For turn 1, he could have done Solari Soldier. Turn 2, Shield Bearer. He didn't do any of that, which is kind of weird, right? You would have thought he would just want to block a 3 attack. So, it seems like he either doesn't have this, or he's playing more of the control matchup again. So he's probably not too scared, because he's like, oh, maybe I got some extra heals. It's nothing too big of a deal. So he's like, just based off of the fact that he didn't play one of these, he's just going on full-on control. This is no mid-range that he's playing here. Going for 3 attack. He's thinking we're going to play more of the control. He's playing more of the control again, right? Which is good. He's beating us because he got mid-range. But if we drop a 2-drop here, if we draw a 2-drop here, this is going to be so good. And look at that. We top decked hella hard. So now we're basically forced to play these because we want to be very aggressive. He's playing the control matchup just how he should to beat us. But now we switched the game, right? If we played slower, if we didn't play this Bright Steel Protector early enough, it would have messed up our next few turns, and it would have made us more mid-range, and we'd probably have a better chance of losing the game. He still doesn't know. He could Remembrance, right? They might be running a copy of that, right? You're going to always check turn 6. The Remembrance, he could play that, but he's playing the control matchup again. Playing a control, you don't have to put in a lot of work. You just wait. Just wait games. Wait turns. That's literally all you have to do until you wait for the other player to react. Wait for me to do stuff, because the longer I stall, let's say I just passed here. When he passed, I'm playing more mid-range, and I'm going to lose the game. So he's being smart with what he's doing. It's all deck pacing, right? He's still holding 6, right? 6 potential. 3 for minions, 6 for spells. I always have to go aggressive. As you can see, I pushed. I'm pushing. So what is he going to do here? He's got to do either heals. So as a control, right? And now he knows, right? He understands. Shit, Tippy is playing the aggressive matchup. He went aggressive. So look at this. And look where he pulled it. This is all part of card tracking. Look where he pulled it. Pulled it from right here. 3rd card. He had it on his mulligan stage. Literally, why didn't he play it at the beginning to defend against my 3-2? Because he understands how deck pacing works. He didn't need to do it at the time. So he plays this, bam, now he needs him, I guess, right? He needs him because he understands we're playing more aggressive, meaning he's going to lose this matchup if he's very control-y. So he needs to start playing more mid-range or he loses the game, right? Because what, if I attack next turn, then I pursuit, like there's so many different things that could happen. I Bannerman, like it's getting worse for him. Now, based off of this information, right, he probably held this for the extra, mid-range possibility. But the fact that, like, now we don't know. We really don't know. Like, I'm hoping he has a lot of control mechanisms, a bunch of his spells, right? Hoping that he's got a lot of the right side here and not the left side. But I don't really know. So we're going to see based off of his actions. This is where card tracking is huge. So we just pass, obviously. What does he do? He plays it from over here. So he drew it like last turn. He does Pale Cascade. Why would you be Pale Cascading? If Pale Cascade gives you a +2 and a +1 on this turn, I have Barrier. No way in hell you're attacking onto a barrier, because it's not going to do much for you. So what could you possibly do? I guess since you're holding 2 more and 1, you could single combat. I think that's about it, right? If we look at his deck, that's about all he can do. Maybe blinding assault. I mean, I don't know, man. This doesn't look like it's a good play what he's doing. So this his action is telling me the fact that, right, how that works. He draws an extra card. This looks like a huge waste. So why are you doing that? Because you don't have the mid-range options that I think that you should have to beat the aggro that I'm now running. What does he play here? Oh, look, another spell. So look at this. He has 2 spells. So meaning he's playing more control-y, right? He's trying to control the board with spells. But to beat this, right? To beat this aggro, you have to be more mid-rangey. You need minions, not spells. So it looks like to me like he's looking for like actual cards, looking for aggressive minions that can help him. So he's at turn 4, right? What can he do at turn 4 again? This is going back, card tracking. Turn 4 minion, Grizzled Ranger. Holy shit, it would be a nightmare. Or Radiant Guardian. Oh, he can't. Grizzled Ranger or lower. But it seems like he doesn't have this. He would have played them for the most part. So he could also have Blinding Assault and just a lot of heals and stuff like that. Some annoying heals and Remembrance. So we have to keep into account of that. But there's nothing really too big, right? You can't really Remembrance me. You can't really Sunburst me. I'm honestly not scared of anything. The fact is, I'm mainly thinking the fact that he was trying to draw and use that Pill Cascade. Basically, is telling me that he was looking for cards and he didn't have the proper minions. So I'm going to roll to the fact that he probably doesn't have any minions. So I'm forced to play more aggressive, like, right? I drop minions. See what he has. If he has Grizzle Ranger, we have to deal with it no matter what. But look at this. We're deck pacing again. We're understanding where he's coming from, what he did with his. We're card tracking him, understanding what he has. We're looking at his mana. What is this man holding? He basically has no way to punish us here. Maybe a single combat. Can't Remembrance. He can't play the lifesteal. That's an important one. He can't play Radiant Guardian for the lifesteal. That's literally where, like, it's danger zone for us. So this is looking good. Why not just play a minion and attack, right? So we commit this. So 2-4 into 2-1. We want to keep as many minions as possible. So he does a Guiding Touch. Again, he just drew it. Look where the position he just drew that card came from his leftmost side, which is the card the most recent. So it's his right side, but my left. But he healed his unit, meaning he doesn't have cards. He's trying to draw constantly to see what else he can get. He just doesn't have anything good. He would have played Grizzled Ranger here, then started accumulating more and more next turn if he had anything good. So now he plays a middle card over here. What is this? Another Pale Cascade. Dude, he's telling me he was prepared for the control matchup. He was not looking into me going, I guess he wasn't thinking that far ahead. Since I was playing like pretty bad at the beginning with like not really even having a good startup. He was like, I have this control matchup. Let me look for control. Like, let's hope I get control cards. But he didn't, right? He's like, he's chilling, he's happy. But now when we're going for the push, we see that maybe he mulliganed for the wrong cards. Maybe RNG fucked him. But that's all out of the question. We can't control any of that. What we can control, though, is the information that's happening. Based off of how he's playing, I know he doesn't have any, like, actual blockers, any mid-range blockers for it. Look, he's drawing, look at that. He's healing, like, what? So here, I just had to pop Ranger's Resolve. Will Ranger's Resolve help me in the future? If he's just life-stealing and doing all of these weird shenanigans and Aurelian Souling me? No, it won't. So let's use it right now, right? Ranger's Resolve, easy money, because I want my minion to live here. There's really no way he can, like, stop this for the most part. Like, can't use single combat anymore. It's better to have more minions than no minions because I have the Pursuit and the Jenny's coming up. Look for a thankful... even more aggressive. It's more mid-rangey, but it's more aggressive. More scouts. So, he's attacking. I know he's probably Radiant Guardian or Remembrance, so why am I gonna be dumb and trade? He's obviously suffering from minions, and he doesn't want to play the Radiant Guardian yet. So, I'm forcing him to play the Radiant Guardian now without the lifesteal. Or do something else. Again, the aggressive mid-range, we're going. He's healing, bro. He's playing so control, like aggro beats control. We've moved our deck to a more aggressive instead of just being mid-range with Jenny, Pursuit, and Riposte. Like, just based off of what we drew, we were able to be more aggressive than just a regular mid-range deck with Bannerman and stuff like that. So this is perfect for us. We pass. Okay. Round 6. What can you do in round 6? It's basically what you could do in round 5, bro. There was really no difference. Same exact. Radiant Guardian scare. Remembrance scares. Like, Hush it. That's it. You have no minions, bro. So it's mostly guaranteed he wants to do the Radiant Guardian, and he might have a single combat. That's all that is going in my head right now. Right? You have enough for that. So I could go for the slow play, right? But also you have to logically think about it, right? If he's holding a Radiant Guardian, because it was a weird turn that he attacked first. The fact that he initiated a commit last attack means he wanted to probably die and then plays Radiant Guardian for more extra heals on the next turns. So I was already assuming, bro, you probably have that. And you've been holding for that mana. It's very suspicious. So I'm not going to fall for it. So now we're going to just full auto with everyone. Because if I go slow, if I clean with these 2 scouts, and then he plays the 5/5, how am I going to deal with that? You know what I mean? There's like really no way for me to deal with that. Maybe I could do riposte and stuff like that, but it's like, I know he has no minions except for that, so it's like, might as well just rush him right now. We have the extra pursuit, so the fact that we had this extra pursuit convinced me that I could actually just full on roll over this kid. So literally, this looks like a good trade, but wait a minute, this is just really dumb mechanics from what I was doing, but I should just utilize obviously this bird over this bird because he has the extra, what is it called? Scout. Oh my, ignore that, guys. I don't know what the hell I was doing. I think it was a misclick. I was like hella tired. But yeah, obviously I can scout with this one. So it'd be even dangerous if I pursue. I could attack with both. So this is, and we still have the riposte open, which if he has a single combat for any heals, we could stop it. So my head is just thinking about all this stuff, right? Let me pull up my deck. I forgot to do this, guys. This is scout. What is it? I can actually just show you guys my deck, but I'm gonna go on Twitter real quick. Right here, boys. This is the Misfortune Queen that I'm running. So as you can see, we had a lot of ways of going aggro over here. We had aggressive. This could be aggressive. You could play at turn 3. You could play a War Chefs and a Fleet Feather. Turn 3, you could play a Protector and a Cloud Field. That's what I mean by going more aggressive. Go for the attacks. Bam, bam, bam. I'm looking for the 5. Is he doing the 5 drop or what is he doing? That's the only way he could possibly live. Look at this and look where it came out. He literally had this in turn, I think 2 or 3 because I think turn. Yeah, no, it was his mulligan stage. He was holding it. He literally kept the Radiant Guardian because he was basically banking on the mid-range or more control, right? Because he wasn't holding any of his early minions. He was holding more of his late game minions. This is more control, if anything. So he plays this, right? And that's basically the game. I solidified he's only got 2. He could single combat. If he single combats, we riposte. Riposte gives a barrier and you block shield automatically. Or I'm sorry, you block life steals automatically with whichever he does, and we go for the attack, and that's game. He literally knew he lost at that instant, and we did this all by deck pacing, card tracking, and mana holding. Literally every game, that's all you want to do. Deck pacing, card tracking, mana holding. In your in game, I don't know what I'm doing here with the fizz stuff. I guess I was pretty happy, but anyways, this was the master game, guys. It's the only one I'm going to be covering because I think if I go over another one, it's going to take way too long since we have pauses and stuff. But don't forget, right? Pre-game. Start with pre-game. Make sure you have your tracker and you know your deck. Once you queue up with someone, you're basically going to tell yourself, oh, how do I benefit? How do they benefit? Who wins this matchup? Does it make sense where I'm logically coming based off of this map? This is like your guide, bro. Control, aggro, mid-range beats whoever. Does it make sense? Mid-range aggro. What is this? Control. Basically control. You could maybe argue it's mid-range. But again, guys, Google the decks. Literally, while you're in this queue, if you don't know the deck, Google the fucking deck.